Alright, I'm back again. I ended up pulling it apart a little bit and clipping a piece out so that it closed better. And not only that, I noticed that I missed some parts that went into it. So I had to frantically get those parts and install them. So actually now it fits better and there's no seams. But in the process, of course, I got glue all over my fingertips. So anyway, that's just going to sit and dry. And like I said, this is the one that's going to go here. So, all right. Catch you on the next clip. All right there, YouTube. And I have finished the second nacelle. And I'm going to put it on to the spaceship, to the starship. So, pop some glue down. It's off. And there she is. So, most of the ship is done, so up to part 4. So now it's time to go over to do part 5 and 6 of the refit. So I've got to do that new engineering section has to get done. So let's take these parts out. I believe I can do this without doing too much look at the directions. So while I'm doing this, I'll talk a little banter here. I've done so many models over the last several years. Not that I've done a whole lot. Some people have done a whole lot more than I have, but I have a lot of spare parts lying around. So something that's going to potentially happen is I might do I might build a kit bashed model just with parts. It might take more time to build up some more things that I need, but it is something I've been thinking about doing. So that's what I was going to talk about there. So I think it'd be cool. I'll be designing like my own spaceship out of parts. So, like if you look here, I got this piece here, and I got this piece. These little pieces. Of course, I only got small pieces from this, but I have another set of spare parts for some other models, like from the bird of prey that I did. So I might be able to come up with something down the road. So I actually might even just buy a cheap model to get enough parts to do it, and just bash parts from that model. So I might buy like a naval ship or something like that, and like a cheap airplane to do that. So, but anyway, those are just things that I've been thinking about doing. I think it would be cool. A lot of people do it. I've never really done it, but I've always wanted to do it. So, think what I can do, let's see, before I like put anything together permanently, I'm just testing something. I want to see, yes, so what I'm going to want to do is attach this to that first. So, just want to put a dab of glue on that. Oh, Lord. Of course, when you're trying to do something on camera, issues, okay. So this seemed to want to seal pretty well. Yeah. All right. Okay, I need to pull that out. All right, so that is together quite well. Just sand a little edge there with the file. Okay, and the only parts that have a bit of a broken seal are up in here and there. Now that part there is going to get solved with this piece going down on there. And let me see, how does this piece go in? So occasionally when you go to put something in, something doesn't fit, and that is one of them. So I don't know if I already said this, but I probably won't do this model again and try to do the other variations. And you're probably saying, why not? I'd like to see that. Well, the biggest reason is this one has a lot of small parts. And I know some people say, well, that shouldn't discourage you. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. But I got stubby fingers, and it can be a bit hard to do that, to work on a model when you have stubby fingers. And yeah, see, like this part is giving me this, just can't get it to stay. Which means I'm probably going to have to turn the camera off and get it in there. Alright, I got that solved. There was another teeny little part on that too that I'd missed, and I saw it on the directions, and I got it. anyway, so that little part goes right here. Oops. So that goes into there like so. Yeah, I like this. This would have been so cool if they had done gotten to do this version of the ship. On the show. So, as I said before, like I said, in the 4th season, the show got canceled. And just as the show was finding its groove, and so those people like myself who really liked the show were really bummed when it went off the air. So anyway, that's my rant on Star Trek Enterprise. And it's a show that I think was ahead of its time. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of the fans, the Star Trek fans, they thought it was, I don't know, they just didn't like it. They didn't. Some people, it was really mostly they didn't like the theme song. I think that just they turned it off because of the theme song. And then it was a snowball effect from then on, and it complained about everything. So that's coming together, and now I just need to put in the last part of the new deflector dish, which is really interesting. This version ends up with more than one deflector dish, which science vessels are supposed to have. Two. Supposed to have a secondary deflector. Even some of the cruisers in some of the shows, it's been mentioned, a secondary deflector. So that dish is on. Okay. So there. Let me see something here before I attach it, because I think, yeah, you're not even going to see that hole. Okay, so that's going to attach there like so. Let me move some things. So I think what's going to happen, let me make sure that all the holes are big enough before I attach it. See, I'm already seeing an issue. So, like these are too fat to go into there, so I have to fix that. I'm gonna go off camera and sand around those and make them smaller. All right, I've prepped those parts. Actually ended up having to put in these parts here, and I found them. It wasn't in the directions, but for this version, but I put it in. At least I didn't see it in the directions. So now I'm going to add these. I've actually what I used is one of these drill bits to open up the holes more, and on this one I just went around and sanded it a little bit. So now I am going to dab some glue down. Let's put the glue on that. Alright. And put her together. And there you go. She's a beaut. I really like it. So, that makes me happy. This little model was kind of challenging. careful with those, they could break. And one of those was bent. Anyway, this little model was very challenging, and so the next bit will be to paint it, prep it and for painting, and then paint it, and then do the decals after that. So I'm so far pretty happy. It's pretty cool looking. I really like this ship with that engineering section on there. So it's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to let this sit for a day, and I'll work on it after work tomorrow. So here we go, the NX refit, or the NX-01 refit, the USS Enterprise. Alright, YouTube. Before I get going on the painting, I actually started to sand it, and I took a break. And let me show you something. I hope it shows up on camera, but there's a real big gap in the way that settled. There was a little like peg that needed to go in, and it wouldn't go in any further, so it made this really large gap. Not only that, it's not even contoured to properly fit the saucer. So that really bothered me. I think it's actually supposed to stick out a little bit, but I don't like it. So I've been cutting this plastic cup up, and I've been slowly super gluing in little panels to cover that gap. And then when I'm done, I'll go over it with some of the liquid cement to strengthen it, and then I'll have I guess that's called the neck that connects the secondary hull to the primary hull, or the saucer section. In this way, it looks secure. It doesn't look secure, and as a avid fan, it doesn't seem right for the neck to not really touch the saucer section. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll show you when I'm finished. Alright, YouTube. I have patched all of it up. That is side, front, and side. Haven't done the rear. It's so hard to get in there. I'm not going to worry about that. But I'm going to let this dry for a while. And then what I'm going to do is probably put some kind of a putty or something around it and lightly sand it smooth. And I might have to do that several times to get it to match. But once that's done and you paint over it, it'll look good. So that's what I was doing. It's so far that is a successful modification. Alright, YouTube. My patchwork came out great, worked like a charm, and it's pretty hard. So I don't even think I'm going to put any putty over it. As you can see, it's hard as a rock, so I think I'm going to leave it as is. I think it'll look neat. I did have a mishap, though. The little spikes that stick out of the Bizarre collectors, this one had broken, and I had repaired it by gluing it back, and it broke again, and I couldn't find where it went, so I just intentionally broke the other one off to make it equal. I'm not sure what I could do to fix that. I guess I could take a fine bit drill and drill little holes in there and maybe cut some wire and glue it in there. I might try doing that, but I'm also ready to paint. I've sanded it down and everything, um, so that's the main next stage of putting this or finishing this model.